Good evening, council members. I'm Megan Mitchell, founder of Angel City Ferret Club, and it's been a few months since I saw you last in December, but I'm back, and so are members of Angel City Ferret Club, and we want to ask, but actually beg for your help. We would like you to add to the agenda and issue, a proclamation for support of ferret legalization, mainly because we found that we aren't getting any support at the state level. So we're turning to our local cities to back us up. Recently, we found out that, according to Assemblymember Chavez's staff, Governor Brown said he would veto a bill if it landed on his desk. So until he's out of office, we're dealing with you guys. So if you can, just hear me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Santa Clarita would be a great city to issue a proclamation because there's a large population of ferret owners here already. We have an online petition for a ferret-friendly Santa Clarita with over 800 signatures. There are 3 veterinary offices here in the city that treat ferrets and 5 pet stores that sell supplies directly for ferrets. Domestic ferrets are also not hazardous to legalize. All these ideas have been debunked over the past 20 years or so. There are no feral colonies of domestic ferrets anywhere in the world, and that's the species that we keep as a pet. No North American wildlife agency in any state has reported having have reported ferrets having a known effect on native species, so that concern is, not backed up by any scientific data. And then there's been a rabies vaccine since the 1980s. So just like dogs and cats, the ferrets would get a yearly vaccine against rabies. Ferrets are already legal in 48 states. California is a holdout simply because of bureaucratic red tape. The Department of Fish and Wildlife and Fish and Game Commission has kind of put a hold on hearing the ferret issue because we have spoken in front of them so many times in the past several years. So again, that's why we're here asking for your help. We understand you can't supersede state law, and we don't expect you to, but we would love if you could stand with your local businesses, ferret owners, and enthusiasts and kind of help change this law by supporting us and making it known that owning a house pet that's legal in 48 states already should not be a misdemeanor in California. And so if you could add an agenda item for a proclamation in support of legalizing ferrets in California. I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. And you're Laura Lee?
All right, I'm Megan Mitchell, yes.
Okay, you're Megan Mitchell. I had it right. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Dear City Council members, I live in Valencia, and I am one of many pet owners in Santa Clarita who would be grateful if you would help support the decriminalization of ferret ownership by making Santa Clarita a ferret-friendly city. Over the years, I've spoken with local veterinarians as well as managers and owners of local pet supply stores. I know there are many ferret owners in our city. According to statistics, there are an estimated 500,000 to 1 million ferrets being kept as pets in the state of California. With this in mind, it's only logical to expect that some of these ferrets live here in Santa Clarita. Many of our pet stores carry ferret supplies. Over the years, I've even seen signs in my neighborhood saying, "Lost pet ferret." These are the brave ones. Most people would be too fearful to post a sign. Most are too fearful to come here today, so I'm standing here representing them. I may be one person, but I do know that I'm speaking for many local residents. Tonight, we aren't asking you to change any laws. We are just asking for a little support. How would making Santa Clarita a ferret-friendly city help our valley? Making Santa Clarita a ferret-friendly city would show that we support the reduction in costs of trying to monitor and regulate the ownership of a domesticated pet, that we support law enforcement and our tax dollars be used on real criminals rather than wasting resources and money penalizing the owners of domestic pets. Also, that we would support Fish and Game concentrating their limited resources on wild animals rather than dealing with domestic pets that have already been here for many decades and have never had any environmental impact in California or any other state. Making Santa Clarita a ferret-friendly city would show we welcome pet owners from other states who may want to transfer here for work but are reluctant due to California's outdated overregulation of an extremely popular domestic pet. Also, in addition to supporting pet owners, making California a ferret-friendly city would show we support the decriminalization of a domestic pet that has the potential to generate a large amount of tax dollars and shelter license fees for our city and state. Aside from losing out on the sales and tax dollars that our neighboring states receive from California residents, if our shelter system tacks on a yearly license fee of $20, multiply that by the approximately 1 million pet ferrets currently here. Anyways, the reality is that ferrets are already here, and the reasons that they were originally banned in...
Your time's up.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
We're happy to have you. If you
There are-
could give us
okay.
more information in writing.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Are we having further discussion about the ferrets in Santa Clarita? Ferret City, USA.
That's to the discretion of the
right.
council.
I know the staff was working with them. I haven't heard from staff yet, so I just wanted to see where we were with that.
Regarding ferrets. Now, I know we can't have a discussion here back and forth, but I have heard and I have seen where ferrets can be a little dangerous because they latch onto you, they don't let go. And if there are children in which a ferret will latch on to them, that's kind of dangerous. I don't know whether domestic ferrets are different from ferrets that I have seen on TV that have done this type of a thing, but I would sure like to have some information regarding that, if there is a danger to children because of that.
Councilman Smythe?
Thank you, Mayor. I think just, again, on the ferrets, as I said in the last message, I'm not initially anti-ferret, but I don't want to, given the governor's, preemptive and there's not going to be any legislation, I would rather wait on taking action when a bill is actually, is introduced, and maybe taking a position on a piece of legislation as opposed to, putting forth a proclamation calling for, the legalization. I would rather wait and see if a member of the legislature would be willing to introduce a bill. I know there hasn't been one since I think '05 was probably the last time I recall, and so if with the new administration coming in next year, if that would change some of the legislators' minds and a willingness to make to draft a bill, I'd be more inclined to look at that and whether we take a position on a bill as opposed to doing a resolution at this point, knowing that there is nothing out there because the governor has already articulated that he will veto it, which will obviously prevent no legislator is going to introduce a bill knowing that the governor is going to veto it. So that's just kind of where I am on the ferrets. I defer. Never thought I'd say that at a council meeting that that's where I am on the ferrets, but that's local government, and but I defer to the rest of the council on on that where we're coming from on that.
Councilman Miranda, you have a comment?
Well, I'm going to disagree. I think if it's a good thing to do, we should do it, and whether the governor wants it or not, that's up to them. But from our standpoint, I would support.
If I could,
getting out.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Councilmember, but we're starting to engage in a conversation on the issue, which would be, it's not on the agenda for discussion, so we have to kind of narrow the scope of whether we want to agendize or not. I apologize for interrupting, but I think we're getting to a Brown Act issue.
I'm in agreement with you on that. We can have this discussion, get deep. But since I work with the Animal Care Foundation and serve for 6 of the largest shelter district in the country, and have done a lot of work with animal stuff, I'd like to meet with staff and some of the group and start answering some of the scientific questions. And if we can do that, at maybe a later date, we are actually ready to have something here. And I think, as Councilman Smythe said, we've got some time before there's going to be legislation. We need some research. So that'd be all right with the council.
That would be fine. I'd love to be able to sit in on that meeting to get some information.
Well, there's going to be several, obviously.
Could we put it on the agenda for the future?
In the future, as soon as we have more scientific data and more understanding from where animal control is and where some of the other issues in the state are and why the governor feels like he feels. And I know what I think from my past history when studying this, but I think things have changed. So I just want to get some more information. I'm glad to work on it. And whoever wants to be with me, great.